Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Myself Yojana Kumawat, lecturer in Chemical Engineering of Kekewak Polytechnic Nashik. Today I am going to discuss cooling tower topic with you. This comes under the subject Plant Utility of second year diploma in Chemical Engineering. In this video we are going to discuss about the cooling tower and the different types of cooling towers which are used in the industries according to demand. In cooling tower, generally we reduces the temperature of hot water with the help of air. Cooling towers are special kind of heat exchanger devices where air and hot water are brought into direct contact with each other in order for the evaporative cooling takes place and the temperature of the water to drop due to it. During this evaporative cooling process, the air has to be unsaturated so that it can store the evaporated water vapors and for the water to change its phase from liquid to gas. Purpose of this cooling tower is to reduce the temperature of circulating hot water to reuse this water again in the boiler. In this cooling tower, we generally use the water coming from the condenser inside the cooling tower. Now we will see the working of cooling tower. Before that, I will discuss the different parts of cooling tower. This cooling tower consists of fan from the air enters inside this cooling tower. It also consists of the illuminator. This illuminator is not allowed to pass water to pass through it. Illuminator is placed at the top of the tower from which only hot air can pass. Next is spray nozzle and header. These parts are used to increase the rate of evaporation by increasing the surface area. Next part is PVC filling. This PVC filling reduces the falling speed of hot water and it is similar to beehive. Next part is mesh. When the fan is on, it uses atmospheric air which contains some unwanted dust particles. Mesh is used to stop these particles and do not allow to enter dust into the cooling tower. Next is float wall. This float wall is used to maintain the level of water. Next is bleed wall. Bleed wall, it is used to control the concentration of minerals and salts and the last part of this is body. Body of this cooling tower is a outer surface of cooling tower and it is often made up from FRP, that is fiber reinforced plastic, which protects the internal part of this cooling tower. And here we can see this is a sum, means after the process this water get collected inside this sum. This is makeup water area and this is drain pipe and this is outlet pipe from which the water is removed. Now I am going to discuss the working of cooling tower. The working principle of cooling tower is evaporative cooling. The hot water is the input in the equipment and comes from the top of the cooling tower through the sprinkler. The hot water is flows through a pipe and is made to pass through this spray nozzles. The water flows in the tower as a droplet because of this sprinkling motion, and the advantage of doing this is that the surface area of contact of air and water increases. The water falls down due to the influence of gravity. The air is input in the equipment through the bottom of the cooling tower. The water falls on the fill material. The fill material are the zone where the intimate contact of air and hot water takes place. The fill material are also sometimes called packings or baffles. The purpose of the fill material is to increase the effective surface area which is responsible for heat transfer. After the hot water and air come in contact, evaporative cooling takes place, which results in decrease in temperature of water and increase in temperature of air. The cool water is collected from the bottom of this cooling tower in the sump, and the warm air rises and moves out from the top of this cooling tower. And if suppose that hot water contains some amount of water in it, then that water is removed through this eliminator, because eliminator passes only the hot water. Water does not allow to pass through this eliminator. Okay, that's why this eliminator is provided at the top of the cooling tower. This is the general idea which I have given you for the working of cooling tower. Now we will discuss different types of cooling tower. Cooling towers is classified into the four categories: atmospheric tower, natural draft tower, and mechanical draft towers. Mechanical draft towers is again classified into the forced draft and induced draft type. Now we will discuss one by one. This one is the atmospheric cooling towers. This is the simplest type of cooling tower. It consists of the rectangular chamber which has louvered walls on the opposite end of this tower. The louvers are devices which act as a barrier for splash out and sunlight. Also, the louvers give the direction to the flowing wind which is coming inside of this cooling tower from the atmosphere. The atmospheric air enters into the cooling tower depending on the speed of the wind, guided by the louvers. The tower is filled with fill material on which contact of air and water takes place. They are cheap but inefficient because the performance is largely driven by wind velocity and direction. Next type is natural draft cooling tower. We already discussed the general idea or the general working of this cooling tower. Now we are just discussing about the different types. So I will not go in brief. In this figure we can see, this figure shows the natural draft cooling tower. It is also called as hyperbolic tower because it is a large concrete structure of hyperbolic shape. You can also see into this figure. The tower is called so because the movement of air happens naturally inside the tower. The tower consists of spray mechanism beneath which alternative layers of battens are stacked along with the packing material. This air enters from the bottom of this tower and the water gets splashed when it touches battens and forms the shape of droplet. This droplet result in a good heat transfer area. The rise in temperature of air and humidity reduces its density, due to which it becomes relatively more buoyant and rises naturally. And the drift eliminators are provided at the top of this tower to catch the liquid droplets which is entrained with the air. Next part is forced draft cooling tower. In this figure we can see this is a forced draft cooling tower. The difference between the natural and forced draft cooling tower is that in natural draft cooling tower, atmospheric air is used for the cooling of hot water, but in forced draft cooling tower we are using external fans to reduce the temperature of hot water. This forced draft cooling tower has another part also, that is induced draft cooling tower. We will discuss it one by one. In forced draft cooling tower, it is a type of mechanical draft tower because they use fans to move air inside the cooling tower. Forced draft towers use fans at the bottom of the tower in order to push the air inside the cooling tower. The forced mechanism makes it relatively more efficient than the natural wrap towers. If the fans are big enough, then it may cause the motion of the air to become non-uniform while it passes through the fill material. The biggest advantage of forced draft tower is that it may pick up the exit air from outside and push it back inside the cooling tower. This recirculation reduces the efficiency of the tower because the saturation level of inlet air increases. The working of this tower is same as the natural draft cooling tower, only the difference is that here the mechanical fans are provided for the cooling of water. And to avoid this disadvantage of this forced drop cooling tower, induced drop towers are used. In this figure you can see the induced drop tower. Here the mechanism is same as natural drop tower, but here we can see at the top of this tower exhaust fan is provided, and these induced drop towers are designed to eliminate the recirculation effect which happened in the forced drop tower. The fans in induced drop towers are placed at the top of this cooling tower. The space for air inlet is made at the bottom of the tower. When the fan operates, suction is created at the bottom of the tower, due to which the flow of air is induced. This tower can be operated in co-current or counter-current manner, but in the counter-current flow mechanism, the power required to move air will be high because the air entry to the packing will face the maximum resistance due to the liquid exciting the packing. Working principle is same as the natural drop cooling tower of this induced and forced drop cooling tower. Only the difference is that here the fan is mounted on the cooling tower. If fan is mounted on the top of the tower, it is called as induced drop cooling tower, which is most popular for very large capacity installation and requires the large capacity of fan. So forced drop cooling tower contains horizontal shaft for the fan and it is placed at the bottom of the tower, and induced drop cooling tower contains the vertical shaft and it is placed at the top of the cooling tower. This is the difference between the natural and the forced and the induced drop cooling towers. The content of this video is taken from the chemicalengineeringworld.com and the electrical for you. Thank you everyone for watching my video. I hope everybody understood the working of cooling tower and the different types of cooling tower. Thank you once again. We will meet soon with my next video.